Today, we're jumping into a real-life medical detective story. Seriously, it's got all the elements: a mysterious illness, some incredible scientific sleuthing, and a virus that made a terrifying leap. This is the story of the Nipah virus outbreak.
This whole thing really boils down to one single massive question. How does a virus that's been living quietly in an animal for who knows how long suddenly jump ship and start making people sick? The hunt for that answer? Well, that's what this is all about.
All right, let's set the scene. It's late 1998 in Malaysia. Suddenly, a strange and really frightening illness starts popping up, mostly among pig farmers. We're talking high fevers, confusion, and a condition called encephalitis, basically severe inflammation of the brain. And for a lot of people, it was deadly.
And things escalated. Really fast. What started as just a few cases in one area quickly spiraled into a national emergency by early 1999. The death rate was shockingly high, and you can imagine panic was starting to spread. But here's the thing. While all that chaos was happening, the scientists were also moving at lightning speed. By March, they'd isolated a totally new virus. And just 1 month after that, they found the link. It was the pigs. They were the amplifying host, spreading this thing like crazy.
Okay, so they found the culprit, the virus. But that was just step one. Now the real detective work could begin. This is where the epidemiologists shine. Their job was to follow the clues, trace this virus all the way back to its source, and figure out how to stop it in its tracks. The first huge piece of the puzzle was understanding what kind of disease they were even dealing with. And it turned out to be a textbook case of a zoonotic disease, or a zoonosis. All that means is it's an illness that jumps from an animal to a person. And that concept? That was the key that was going to unlock this entire mystery. So, you might be wondering, how did they actually pull this off? Well, they had a sort of epidemiologist's toolkit. First up, they tracked the sick, literally putting pins on a map, and a pattern jumped out right away. Nearly all the victims were pig farmers. Boom. That's the common link. We already know they nailed step 3 in the lab, isolating the virus, but the final and maybe most important step was finding the original source, the animal reservoir, because the pigs had to be getting it from somewhere, right? And here it is, the whole chain of events laid out. After a ton of work, the investigation traced the virus back to local fruit bats. So these bats were carrying the virus, but it didn't make them sick. They were the natural reservoir. They'd drop half-eaten, saliva-covered fruit right into pig pens. The pigs, well, they'd eat the fruit, get infected, and since they were all packed together, the virus just exploded among them. From there, it was a very short jump to the farmers who were working with these sick animals day in and day out.
You could imagine this whole experience was a massive national trauma for Malaysia. But out of that crisis came this incredible push for change. The country knew it had to build a much, much stronger defense system so nothing like this could ever happen again.
And they didn't just talk about it, they really took these lessons to heart. They created clear national strategies, working with organizations like the WHO. The whole focus shifted to being proactive. Things like better surveillance right at that point where humans and animals meet. Better coordination, so vets and doctors were actually talking to each other, and creating rapid response teams that could be ready to go at a moment's notice.
And really, all of this boils down to one huge, game-changing idea: the One Health approach. It's a total shift in how we think about public health. It's the simple but incredibly profound idea that you just can't protect human health in a bubble. The well-being of people is completely tied to the health of animals and the environment we all share. If you neglect one, you put everyone else at risk. So this is way bigger than just one outbreak in one country. The story of Nipah is basically a global warning flare. It's a perfect case study of the kind of threats we're all facing from the viral world. And look, scientists have been trying to tell us this for a long time. This isn't ancient history. A recent scientific paper put it in really stark terms, framing Nipah not as some weird one-off event, but as just another example in a long line of threats coming from the animal kingdom.
And this quote right here, wow. It just lays it all out, doesn't it? The experts are all in agreement on this. It's not a question of if another virus will make the jump from animals to humans. It's just a question of when and where.
And we're not talking about some rare phenomenon. Just look at this number. A whopping 75%, that's 3 out of every 4 new infectious diseases in humans, they all start in animals. That number, right there, is why the kind of detective work we saw in Malaysia isn't just a cool story. It's one of the most critical challenges we face today.
All right, so let's zoom out and put all the pieces together.
We've gone on this journey from a terrifying local mystery in Malaysia all the way to some really big global lessons about disease and how we prepare for it.
So what have we really learned from all this? Well, a few things really stand out. First, early warning systems aren't a luxury. They're non-negotiable. Second, that One Health idea, that's the new gold standard. And third, having a national plan ready to go before disaster strikes is absolutely essential. But maybe the biggest lesson of all, in our world today, a local outbreak anywhere is a potential threat to everyone, everywhere.
You know, the story of Nipah is such a powerful reminder that these threats are real and they aren't going away. It leaves all of us with a really big question to think about. We know the last pandemic wasn't the final one we'll ever face. So, are we truly ready for what's coming next?